in the curtain raiser match, they handled it pretty well here, the boys, between Ross Trevor and Sacred Heart. The curtain raiser match won by Sacred Heart for Adelaide and South Australian viewers. Eagleton goes up to where he finds Koutafidis in the road.
And front position, Gerard. A slight breeze, the ball's going to drop, and John Carr would be just a little bit disappointed his forwards conceded that front spot.
But Anthony Koutafidis has really settled this season as a defender.
Camporelli has been in good form too. DiIulio. This is Whitnell. Well, we spoke about him in our pre-match comments. He won't be too happy with that kick, but he might get a second chance. Ridden into the ground, the ball flipped out the back, so the umpire calls play on. Eagleton, was he taken high? The crowd and the umpire say yes.
Good start by young Eagleton. We saw him get the first kick out of the middle of the ground, and he's the sort of player that could do a lot of damage to Carlton. He's explosive and very, very sharp with his leg speed through the middle.
He's got Brown and Bradley to beat up in the midfield, and they've both been in good form for Carlton. Laid, well, you said before, getting in front's paramount today. Going into the wind. No mark there. McKay looks for the hand pass. Grasped by Bradley. Franchina provides the shepherd. Ratton kicks up towards Murphy. Those white hoops on the blue socks, I don't know that I've seen them before. Whitnell, gee, looked as though he was being held. That in the meantime has gone through for a goal, and I reckon that will count. It does.
Well, it's a fair indication of what the breeze is worth. It's not a particularly gale force breeze, but it just, you put it in the air, it'll just get 1 or 2 extra metres with the kick, and Whitnell appeared to be held. The ball from Murphy, who was a magnificent kick of the ball, was Murphy. Yes, you can see the hand there from Brett Chalmers, but it didn't matter. The ball kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and perhaps backline players and forward line players just have to be a bit more aware of what the wind is going to do to the ball.
Very handy goal to the Blues, but as we said, kicking with the advantage of this breeze. Port swing into attack. McKay's there. James, quick hand pass onto Burgoyne. He goes at goal, and that's a very quick leveller. Kicked by Peter Burgoyne. That took them about 15 seconds. The Port have come to play.
Well, is it going to be a goal-for-goal affair today?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, because we know that Carlton's got a very attacking midfield. Bradley won't be picking up too many opponents. Murphy's hasn't got too much defence about his game. Either has Fraser Brown, and Port Adelaide has been renowned for their very much attacking style in the middle of the ground. So it's going to be high percentage, high goal-scoring game.
And the quick little kick from Kingsley, swinging Port into attack from that thrust, kept off by the equalising goal. Brown nailed by Matthew Primus. Abbas, you've got something for us downstairs.
Yeah, you mentioned the wind is probably worth a couple of goals, but the other thing is the ground. The sun has dried it out. The ball will bounce a long way.
The ground looks in absolutely magnificent condition, doesn't it? They try to get it wide of the circle. The umpire will come in and ball this one up.
Yeah, just a bit scrappy. Both teams really desperate. I mean, when there's not much to play for, sometimes the spectacle is good. Certainly there's no lessening of the endeavour.
Allen on the shoulder, free kick going to Port. Lyle tries to pinch it. Goes back to Big Matty Primus. Over to Mead. Mead out towards right half forward. Marking contest out there. Lockwood couldn't drag it down. Burgoyne again at right half forward. 45 metres out. Not a bad shot at goal. Oh, he's got his second. Great kick.
Well, for some reason, Peter Burgoyne has been in the football wilderness a little bit. He's been on the outer, but the last few games he's come back in and displaying all of those skills that brought him to notice last year. He's a running, crumbing player. Now, you see the contest from Lockwood hit in front, and right at the foot of the pack is where he went, gathered the ball beautifully, looked at the goals. Now, into the breeze, that's a very, very good kick. And this young man, he gets plenty of opportunity, is going to be a very exciting player of the future.
Interesting forward strategy now for Port Adelaide. They've taken every player, everybody on their forward line into the goal square.
Allen couldn't get it down. Here come the Port again. Well, They were coming forward.
And Jack Carr would have been disappointed because it was set up there beautifully. They'd won the ball in the middle of the ground and they were bursting forward. And because they'd all started deep, every forward player had a space to run into. The options would have been immense.
This Dickey couldn't quite handle it. In front is Primus. Ratton provides the tackle necessary to tie it up. And we'll see a ball up.
The spectacle isn't good when it's close and tight like that, but it just means they are absolutely busting their boilers to make the contest.
Primus and Allen. Won by the former. Bradley tries to charge through. Primus has got it. Franchine has got him. So not pretty, as you said, Cornsey.
Not pretty, but what's the odds on a quick free kick here, Jared?
Well, let's hope that the ball does get cleared because there's a good 25 players perhaps huddled around the footy.
Primus again. That time kicks across his body. Kingsley before to get it out of the centre from the previous forward thrust. Carlton with numbers. Bradley off a step, kicks towards midfield. Bounce is going to be a factor. Dew just couldn't quite handle it. Now he gets onto his trusty left foot. Spears it up towards half forward. Manton, mark or free kick.
No, it's a very good mark because he took front position right when, as soon as the ball left the boot.
Bradley past James. Whitnell in front, strong hands.
Frank Bradley's going to end up with 35 plus kicks here today because there's very little accountability in the middle.
Not a great kick. Well, Francis provides a tackle. Diulio went through, had the footy and then lost it. Franco likewise. They come from all directions. Odds on a free kick here. Ball kicked out of the pack towards Carlton's forward pocket. Allen. And that came from Silvani, who's involved in a little bit of a scuffle behind the play. But it's going to be a throw in right next to the behind post. Terrific day. Spring is certainly in the air. Top forecast of 22. We've got just over 21 here at the moment. 21.4, the ground announcer told us. So you couldn't wish for better. Might even be a little bit warm for football. Chance for Ratton. See, that's nearly a throw. In fact, that's what he's paid.
Yes, I thought he missed a throw in the previous exchange there when Carlton went forward, but didn't miss that one.
Eagleton to Francis. In the back pocket. So Port runs it out pretty well, and that's a pretty good kick. Murphy, nearly the mark. Gets it back again from the hand pass on left centre wing. Dew was in the road, missed it. So a chance for Carlton again. Camporelli, as we said before, in great form with the breeze in his back. He goes at goal, and he kicks the blue second.
Simply a matter of defence here now for Port Adelaide. They have got to really tighten up on their defensive play because Scott Camporelli was just some 60 metres alone. There was absolutely no accountability once the ball was turned over. And the ball just gets flipped out to him, and it was really just a matter of accuracy.
Well, unfortunately, when the ball goes forward, a lot of players just spectate. Donald Dickey didn't get back quickly enough when Scott Camporelli had run forward.
Now, player coming off, it looks like Mead.
Yeah, blood rule, Peter.
And he has been replaced by Mark Harwood, it looks like.
Mark Harwood in his second year at the club and having a pretty good year, really just starting to find his feet.
So he picks up Hamill. We begin it again. They want to get Mead back on pretty quickly, I'd reckon. One of the success stories for Port Adelaide. Franco to Lyle. That's a terrible kick. They might be able to make something out of it. Kick comes from Burgoyne. Up towards full forward, touched off hands, and one behind.
Well, great skills on both sides of the body there from Burgoyne. We've seen him kick 2 goals early in this quarter on the right foot, and that one was a blistering left foot snap. He's got great skill.
Manton. Former Bomber. One of those players who's made every post a winner since transferring to another club. Hamill in front, couldn't complete the mark. This young Harwood, number 18. Ball just about thrown out to Rice. The umpire lets it go. He bombs it up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by White. Adam White kicks to a contest at half forward. Whitnell taken out of that contest. 3 Port players are there. Lyle confronted by Murphy, and it's all wrapped up. They look for holding the ball, and they get it. Wow.
Well, they're tough decisions.
They sure are.
about kick this, Murphy.
Had he gone long, might have agreed with you. He's got it to Camporelli, who's already kicked one. Similar position. He's going in short as well. Whitnell, again, strong hands in front of Chalmers.
And Brett Chalmers is just giving Lance Whitnell too much space. He's got to close him down. Now, Whitnell is not particularly quick, but he's got good football awareness. And 3 times now we've seen him lead Brett Chalmers to the ball.
Even on that occasion, it looked as if he was going to have time to close the gap and spoil, but even his punch missed the target.
Distance shouldn't be a problem. It's not. But it's a terrible kick, and he's registered only 1 behind. 3 kicks, 3 marks, and 1 behind for his efforts so far. Lance Whitnell, but only a youngster and a budding superstar.
Well, 19 years of age, so big and so strong. But Brett Chalmers, on the other hand, has a chance to resurrect a career. Has been in pretty good form in defence for Port Adelaide in recent weeks.
Francis against the breeze. Not a bad kick, but he's kicked it straight to Whitnell, who marks in front of Primus. He doesn't waste any time. He's got it out to Murphy. Murphy marks about 55 metres out. He's going to square it as well. He's got it on to Ratton, dual best and fairest winner at Carlton. Ratton will kick from about 50.
So Murphy with his leg is probably a better option than Ratton from there. Although with the breeze behind their back, it's not a particularly difficult kick. But Justin Murphy, one of the players who perhaps was a bit erratic in his career, in his early career, and settled down nicely at Carlton.
Yes, he's won a number of best and fairest now, and he's been one of the most consistent midfielders, one of the top midfielders in the competition for the last, well, 3 or 4 years. Won the best and fairest last time they won a flag.
Brett Ratton's kick is going to be close. Looks as though he's got it. He has.
Well, the defence is a problem now for Port Adelaide. Carlton just getting too many free options up there, Graham, and they're one club that doesn't use that floating defence all that regularly.
No, well, of course, that was the zone defence on the kickoff, which was split wide open by Whitnell taking the mark. But it's the Port Adelaide midfield which is in a bit of trouble. Murphy's playing across the centre, as is Camporelli, and they are creating some havoc running forward.
Perhaps not a noted goal kicker, Brett Ratton, but a winner of 2 best and fairest, and was also runner-up a couple of seasons back out at Carlton. Allen, long punch away, White. Stevens underneath it. Now applies a tackle on Ratton, who tried to block him. Bradley. What a magnificent season he's had. And chipping in Eagleton in front of Franchina.
Interesting battle, Franchina and Eagleton, because both are young players. Franchina a bit more combative, a bit more pugnacious perhaps.
Ask Nicky Winmar. Koutafidis in front, Ratton. Quick kick. Francis and Bradley. Bradley starting to get on top there. Whitnell going for mark number 4. Chalmers punches to the front. Diulio, left foot snap. Bends it around, but doesn't bend it around enough. And that's out of bounds on the full, and Mead back on the ground will take the free kick in the right back pocket. One of the 3 players to have played every game for Port Adelaide since they entered the AFL. Ratton looking for the mark, optimistically one would have thought. Whitnell, a little give to Rice, originally from Camporelli. Brown. And speaking of players who's had a good season, probably playing the best football of his career, Fraser Brown.
And another midfielder who's been able to just drift into that space about 40 metres out.
Breeze at his back, may go close. Very close. He's got it.
Well, a good start by Carlton now. There's no doubt about that. Port Adelaide are going into a slight breeze. Carlton going with it. Port Adelaide had made the early running, but the midfield of Carlton just looking a little bit threatening. And it's the turnover that's costing Port Adelaide. When the ball's turned over, there's just too many loose Carlton players that have run forward. You just see the quick exchange of hands. Rice could have blazed away, but he saw Brown, and a nice little chip kick. Fraser Brown from 50 metres drilled it.
Impressively, Craig Bradley, 5 possessions so far, and Murphy 4 kicks and 2 marks. White can't get clear. He's nailed, and the umpire says it's a stalemate. I'll ball it up. Let's go down to Abbas on the boundary.
Yeah, right. The midfield, the difference is that there's no picking up at all here. Everyone's just having a good day out in the sun. And I think Jared's right. Craig Bradley, tailor-made for him. He will get 30 kicks.
Well, if it comes down to a shootout, which it looks like it's going to, you'd probably back the Carlton experience ahead of the younger leagues of Port Adelaide.
Well, that's a little unfair because James was away with the football, but the whistle had just gone. So Port need the next goal to stay in touch. Primus gets front position. Bradley could have been held. White puts the body on the line, kicks it, cross it in the end. Up to a contest at half forward. Whitnell again. He'll give away the hand pass. Camporelli already kicked one. Chance to steady. In goes Beaumont. 10 metres out and closing, and he has, I think, missed. I can't believe it. Neither can he.
Well, it was a magnificent shepherd from Whitnell which cleared him and released him. But the left foot kick.
He shouldn't miss those goals. He
should not miss them at all.
That would have been a real handy one.
It's interesting though at the moment, all the Carlton players just running forward to the ball. They're so confident they realise they're going to win it and they're backing each other home.
Hamill takes a great mark. Can he make amends, Beaumont? He's not having a shot this time. That's better. He's found White directly in front.
Well, there'll be some agitation in the Port Adelaide coaching box at the moment because every player should have a man. It's just twice on these kickoffs that Port Adelaide has been hurt. They zone up. They don't have an immediate opponent, but once the ball has been cleared, everyone has an opponent they should be manning up on.
Adam White from point-blank range has kicked the goal. Carlton on a roll.
Well, I think it's probably about square at the moment. This breeze looks like about 3 goals, and I think the concern for John Carlton, the hierarchy, is the fact that they're just winning so much easy football and there's no accountability whatsoever. We've seen 2 goals already kicked by players just floating down this member's wing, and Carlton knowing full well that if they cross the ball, they've got loose players.
Peter Burgoyne's the only goal kicker for Port Adelaide. 5 individuals have kicked Carlton's. And the Blues certainly on a roll at the moment. They should get it out of the centre again. Camporelli. Murphy. Kick number 5. And that's long up towards full forward. That might be a free kick to Silvani. It will be. It's against Paxman.
Yes, well, Stephen Paxman's not happy, but I must admit at first glance it looked like that, but it may look different in replay. He's arguing with the umpire. Well, very hard to see what happened, but it was very incriminating. Wasn't it?
On that it was, yeah. So goal kicker number 6 if he's accurate, and he is.
Well, there comes a time when as a coach you have to be defensive. It's good to be all attacking and positive, but Carlton at the moment really on top, and we see Matthew Primus being taken from the ground. Brendan Lade will go onto the ball, and they'll ask Primus to drop back into defence a bit more, and Brent Heaver coming on obviously will go into the forward line as we see Silvani just completing that goal after the free kick.
If Carlton get the next goal, they'll blow this game wide open, so Port have got to regroup, and they've got to do it now. Can Lade give them something out of the centre? Allen. White again, a juggle, one-handed.
Well, just front position there, he was able to control it.
Kudafides. Another one.
Well, I was watching that one, Peter. It's a free kick against Paxman, and he was impeding Silvani. He wasn't watching the ball. I don't know whether the replay will show it, but he's turned to watch Stephen Silvani. As Silvani ran at the ball, he's tried to impede him, and if the ball's more than 5 metres away, well, just watching White there complete the good mark. Stuart Dew perhaps not tall enough.
Sauce gets another one. They've blown Port out of the water.
Well, at the moment they may have, but it's not all over. It's only the first quarter, Peter.
Oh, I know, but look at the scoreboard. Hey?
5 goals in the first quarter is not a match-winning lead.
I was talking to Abbas beforehand. I don't know whether you can hear me, Abbas, and you said the body language might be important in the first quarter, and, well, it is, isn't it?
That's it, Peter. You'd always know the game at the end of the season. One team would fire up and one team wouldn't.
Well, 7-2 to 2-1, and we've still got 8 minutes to go in the first term. Allen, Bradley, oh, that's a training drill. Bradley, Brown still in the square up towards Silvani. He could have almost got another free kick there. On to DiIulio. He does kick another one. Wham, bam, thank you, man.
Oh, Ronnie DiIulio, but Matthew Allen in the centre of the ground. It's absolutely dominating this game. Getting it down to Fraser Brown, and he's burst through it. Just watch this. You didn't see the tap, but Fraser Brown stumbled, gathered, and Silvani fighting Paxman.
The most
quick
interesting
hands.
Thing at the end of this, so Graham, is how many Carlton supporters there are here.
Well, maybe they think it's a good weekend to come to Adelaide.
I reckon they're pretty well represented here.
Well, it's obviously Carlton's best ever first quarter against Port Power. They've yet to beat them, incidentally. And the Bronx cheers as they finally get it inside their 50, but it won't be for long. Rice brings it to the member stand side. Kutafides, a little fumble, gets taken down in the tackle. Crowd baying for a free kick. Murphy, who's been good so far in the first quarter. That was nearly a throw from Kutafides, but the ball, no, it won't be out of bounds. Wilson's got it, and the umpire says throw it in. Let's go down to Abbas. Well, what do you reckon?
Well, I just saw Michael Wilson there. Last year he won the Norwich Rising Star. He spent most of the time on the ball. This week I was talking to John Cale. He actually wants to play back pocket, which is unusual for a player. That's why he spent most of the year there.
Now, 10 Port regret. It's thumped over the boundary line by Stuart Dew. Right in the middle of the interchange gates. 13 plays 50. I know it's only the first quarter, but that's a heck of a lead to pick back.
Well, there's a lot of pointing going on out here among the Port Adelaide players. Carlton are running a rotation through the middle and their half-forward line, and the Port players have got absolutely no idea as to who they're supposed to be picking up.
James to Treadray. McKay in front. Eagleton, well, got taken down by McKay. Didn't seem to have the footy. Murphy's got it again. He's been terrific so far in the opening quarter. Mark missed down there by Dew. Oh, it gets ducked.
It's a free kick.
Well, it's got to be a free kick, hasn't it?
It has to be a free kick. Hamill, no regard for the fact the whistle had gone. The umpire doesn't want anything of it, but it was clearly held after the whistle blew.
He must have had the sun in his eyes.
Just watch this. Everything's stopped. Thump. Down you go, Stuart.
White, a little kick. We've almost called that a toe poke. Now it's Lyle. Kingsley now. Kingsley at left half forward, just outside 50. Well played by Sexton to Rice, to McKay. Mongrel punt. Kicks it straight up to Franco, clear of Camporelli. Franchina takes the mark in the back pocket. He's going to bring it across the goal. That'll be okay. Fraser Brown's out there. Brown onto Murphy. Just about Carlton's best player in the first quarter. And there are Carlton players everywhere.
I just say they're running right. They're just running forward.
Kick from DiIulio. To centre wing. Silvani, long way from goal. White, Ratton. The Blues share it around. Franchina, well up from the back pocket. Not a great kick. Whitnell, terrific effort to mark. Mead, good tackle. Now there's a free kick here.
It's called a throw.
Port Adelaide way. Mead. Out wide to Eagleton. Draws Franchina to him. Lyle at right centre wing. Good kick against the breeze. Lands it well inside 50. A marking contest. Treadray was up in the middle of it. Murphy will look for a hand pass. He finds White. This is a great Carlton side today. Make no mistake about that. Fraser Brown. DiIulio. Time for a little bit of a fumble. Back to Brown. Back to DiIulio. Carlton play with a lot of confidence. That may be downfield. No. Stevens.
Well,
over the line.
We've seen a fairly savage off-the-ball shepherd that Stephen Silvani tried to do to the Port Adelaide player, and he's come up second best. He is really hurt.
Well, he's winded anyway, and I suppose that's hurt.
Well,
he's still on hands and knees there. Looks very sore. Franco does well in a tight situation. Long with the left foot. Now the umpire's found a free kick here on the shoulder. He says it's a Port Adelaide free kick. Going to be taken by Treadray. 8 goals against Carlton in round 7. Oh, what a mark! Eagleton! If you don't mind, he's paid it. Sensational.
He had his name written all over it. He had space, he had a run up, and he thought, well, I may as well go for it.
Well, Winston Abraham, where are you?
Gee, it's a contentious mark too. Look, you can see that Sexton finished with it.
Oh, you'd have to pay that fair dinkum just on effort.
You pay for effort, but if you're talking about accuracy...
Well, the day Kelvin Templeton kicked 16 against St Kilda, his last mark should never have been paid, so that's a mark for mine.
We're talking about the 20th century here.
We're talking about a kick at goal, which is a beauty as well. Deserved it. He's got the goal. And deserved the goal, Corns. He cut.
Oh, look, it deserved a goal. He's a little bloke and he saw the mark. He saw the ball sitting up there and he went for it, but Michael Sexton must be a little
Let's
bit...
take a look again. Come on, Jared, give us your unbiased.
What's Cornsy talking about? This is mark of the year.
What's Sexton going back?
Got the ride.
Sexton's marked that. Sexton has marked that.
Yeah, well.
It was a Sexton mark at Optus Oval, but it was a great marked eagle in here at Footy Park.
Exactly. I tell you what, if he hadn't have paid that mark, they would have absolutely pulled the roof off the grandstand. Don't worry about that. Rally. Rattle's nearly pinged. Murphy, he's been terrific. Up the full forward. Sauce seems to have recovered. And that's out of bounds. Right on 50. Evans.
Yeah, I just want to say to Cornsy, I mean, he keeps forgetting he's South Australian. Of course it was a mark.
No,
just because he's from Port Adelaide.
Aber, I understand that, but when you're watching the replay, Sexton appeared to have first touch of it.
Magnificent catch, Graham.
Both did.
Cornsy, you're outvoted, son.
I want to see the replay again.
Tell you what, at the Carlton Social Club where we're going live and exclusive, I reckon it was a Sexton mark.
Bit of tunnel ball to Whitnall.
Oh.
Nearly caught. Fabian Francis has got it.
I tell you what, Port Adelaide have settled now, but
Donald Dickey.
Got nowhere to go, no options at all.
Brings it inboard.
50
Lockwood, is it 50? Pratt wants it. Touched it,
off
so he had to
the
play
ball
on.
was touched off the boot. Lockwood went to play on, and the Carlton player was alert enough to go with him.
So a bounce between wing and half forward left for Carlton.
Umpires called play on, but Lockwood didn't realise.
Fraser Brown even gets around a teammate. Silvani, too good for Paxman.
And he was too good. That was an excellent mark. And Paxman couldn't do too much more than that. He was right alongside him, bustling and hustling with that body of Stephen Silvani.
6 All-Australian honours to the Sauce. Third on the Brownlow, about 8 years back.
He just has a knack of turning the body at the critical time.
Only kicked 12 goals for the year, but of course he's played mostly at full-back. But what a versatile performer. The one on the goal umpire for this one behind. So 2 goals, 1 to Steve Silvani so far. One poses the question to both of you, will he play at that end all day?
No, I think he'll have to go forward again. The Carlton defence is working pretty well. In reality, what they've done over the years is just through the year is just swap one defender for a forward, that being Koutafidis for Silvani. We know that Silvani was down there when Carlton was at its worst. They stabilised and then they've pushed him forward again.
Francis gets it up towards midfield. Well, Port have got to get a couple of goals before quarter time if they can. Can Treadway give them something? That was a beautiful hand pass to Burgoyne. All he's got to do is pick it up. 5 minutes out, and that's number 3.
Well, here's a tearaway, Graham.
He's a tearaway. As I said, he's been a little bit on the outer this year. For what reason, I'm not sure. But every time you see him play, he has the half-forward flank syndrome sometimes of dropping out of the game, but he has got pace and skill and awareness. And Treadway didn't quite control it, but Burgoyne, where he should have been, right at the foot of the pack, left Andrew Mackay in his wake and belted it out of the stadium.
Well, he's certainly having a great quarter. There's number 26, Peter Burgoyne. He's kicked 3. Steve Silvani's kicked 2. They are the multiple goal kickers in the match so far. In an action-packed first quarter. High tackle, a throw, a free kick to Port Adelaide. It'll go to Josh Franco.
Peter, Port Adelaide are back in this game. I know you thought Carlton had it won. Port Adelaide are back in this game.
And I think the fact that Brendan Lade went into the middle has just given them, just changed the chemistry somewhat.
Stevens, yes. Good player. Against the breeze. Is he too far out?
Probably.
Realises that. Goes in short. Gee, it wasn't a great option. And Sexton takes it over the line. A very effective knock. And it will be thrown in about 35 metres from goal and left half forward. Under 2 minutes. Carlton leading by 26 points. So vital late goals for Port. Koutoufides. Ineffective knock. Franco, effective tackle. Heaver. A one-on-one contest. Manton, did he interfere? Eagleton snaps. Out of bounds, I think. Takes a left-hand turn. Now it's out of bounds. So throw it in Port Adelaide's right forward pocket.
Manton interfered with Treadray. There's no doubt about that. The umpire not courageous enough to give the decision.
Had a couple of goes in the end.
Koutoufides slaps it down for Murphy. Franchina off the ground, gets his own kick. Back to McKay. Ratton doesn't miss much, but missed that mark. Tries for Murphy. Right on the boundary line. Koutoufides. Time to steady. Diolio. Camporelli. Carlton working this pretty well. Close to quarter time. Fraser Brown to the voice of Rice. Oh, it might have been a holding decision there on Wilson if they'd lost it. And a chance for Port Adelaide. James. And he kicks up towards Lockwood.
Well, there's just a touch of Laird creeping into the Carlton game here, and Port Adelaide played it beautifully. Michael Wilson, 2-on-1, with his desperation, was just able to intercept that handball. The rebounders hurt them badly, and if this kick from Bowen Lockwood is a goal, David Parker won't be happy because they've had their chances.
Kicked 15 goals for the year so far. Aims for the left goal post. Perhaps not enough. And one behind only.
Yeah, what though, Bowen Lockwood continues to impress. He is a very smart player and used that space behind him so well. It was a great kick in from, I think it was from Wilson.
Yep.
And wasn't that a great turnover?
Well, 2-on-1, he just did the desperate thing.
Murphy. Gee, look at that roost. He kicked it just about to the centre circle. In fact, he has. White. No, it's not White. Now it's Bradley. Not a Diulio. Ronnie can make them pay. 45 metres out. He's got the goal.
That is magnificent.
From one end of the ground to the other.
And really, when you look at Murphy with the ball and he's going to go along, there has to be somebody minding the back of the pack. Now look, the ball goes and goes and goes. No Port Adelaide players at the back of the pack.
Well, Fabian Francis had almost
Taken
got
up
to take
position,
an uncontested chest mark. And well, I think that kick has just illustrated how strong this wind has become. If they can get it up into the air and go long, the ball will travel a good 60, 65 metres.
I've got to say, though, the windsock's not standing out much and the flags aren't really fluttering.
Well, just about quarter time, a 9-goal first quarter from Carlton. We won't see any more scoring, I wouldn't think, unless somebody offends close to goal. Franco's got him. Ratton's got him. Carlton have got the first quarter. And it's a real handy lead. You don't often lose a game of football when you kick 9 goals in an opening term. So Port Adelaide certainly have their work cut out for them here. And trailing by 31 points at the first break. Not a match-winning lead, but a very handy one. And Port Adelaide will have use of the breeze in the second quarter. That's coming up shortly. We'll take a break.
There's some aggravation too. The umpire's running down there to try and sort them out.
There they are.
When you get a lot of footballers together, there's always going to be some pushing and shoving.
Particularly when there's a drink ticket around.
And now why is the reserve umpire out there?
31 points the margin. Fraser Brown, a quick hand pass. Stevens couldn't handle it. Plenty of congested at midfield. Stevens applies a tackle on Ratton. And it will be another ball up, this time all in, close to the centre circle. And that forward line a little bit more open now. They're all around the ball.
Yes, well, Brent Heaver started in the forward pocket. Brendan Laid on the ball.
Stevens from Hamill, the two number 36s. Chalmers. Off a step to half forward, and Rice still has his head and he's got the mark. Hamill again. Wearing Mark McClure's old number. And as I said prior to the match, that guy Brown, Fraser Brown, playing the best footy of his career. Whitnell, teenager, He's going to be a star. Sexton to half forward or to full forward. Laid chips into the space. He'll give it to Fabian Francis. Well clear of Camporelli. Oh, Franco, he just got a hand to that before it went out of bounds. Abbas, you got something for us?
Yeah, just Matthew Primus. He's still on the bench, and Port Adelaide says that he's not injured, which would suggest that they're either better balanced with Brendan Lade or they're just not happy with his performance, which is surprising, being the vice-captain.
Well, the game turned in Port Adelaide's favour when he came off the ground and Brendan Lade went on the ball. It's just a team balance thing, I'm sure, Abba.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't argue with that. Stevens had it and lost it. Could be costly too because Camporelli takes possession, goes up towards Silvani, turns on a threepenny bit, spears it back to DiIulio. Great catch.
He's hurt himself too. Just grabbed the collarbone as he fell.
And Paxman's got a problem because he's a good body player, but he's up against one of the all-time great body players, and Steve Silvani's playing him on a break, just body to body, and winning the possession most times.
Maybe time for somebody who can just stand off Silvani and jump at him and over him, but Silvani's going to be. But it's the turnovers that are hurting Port Adelaide.
So against the wind, this would be a disastrous start for Jack Cale. DiIulio for his third to join Peter Burgoyne as leading goal kicker in the match. Plenty of noise from the crowd. Ronnie likes it, and so does the goal umpire.
Three goals now to Ron DiIulio. That's a pretty good haul at just a couple of minutes into this second term, and his running really has been one of the features of the return to form of the Carlton Footy Club, and that's a smart piece of work there by Silvani. Yeah, he did hurt his shoulder on the way down, but he's up and running. Ronnie, he doesn't want to miss any of the action.
7 kicks, 3 hand passes, 4 marks and 3 goals to Ron DiIulio. It's not a bad return. You'd like those stats for a match sometimes, and he's got them close to the second quarter. Franco, the advantage, as Jared said. Manton backs his judgment. Rice will concede it behind. Good tackle by Burgoyne.
Most times we've seen Josh Franco, Graham, steaming into the forward line and just delivered a mongrel.
And Warren Treadray had made good position too, and the kick went virtually straight to Glenn Manton. Dean Rice is impressive still, isn't he?
Yep.
Still quick-witted.
And solid. Allen in front. Tackle by Ratton. Goes to Stevens. Franco's tackle ineffective. Brown. Off a step to centre wing. Stuart Dew. The strong left footer. Rice in front. Somebody needs to get back. It's Treadray. Heber. Out in front of goal. And the mark is taken down there by Simon Beaumont. Crutch. Ratton plays on. Carlton have got the loose man.
Now,
Koutafidis.
there's been a bit of drama behind play here between Murphy and Fabian Francis.
Kingsley. Mead. Laid at centre half back. Came on halfway through the first quarter. He's gone long. Allen couldn't complete the mark. The umpire's paid the mark. Well, did he hold it long enough? Doesn't matter what we
fair
think.
enough decision. He did have control of the ball.
Murphy, who's been unstoppable so far. I was going to say the kick could have been better. I don't think it was originally intended for Franchina. It might have been for Beaumont, but Franchina's got it at left centre wing.
Sorry, but Fabian Francis has stopped Justin Murphy, but that's what's caused the attention of the umpires, and Murphy rubbing his face.
White. Ratton. Put off his kick at the last minute. Carlton with numbers. Camporelli takes it from Whitnell. Nearly gets nailed. Crowd wants holding the ball.
Well, that had to be holding the ball because it wasn't a correct disposal. It was just a mongrel.
Franco to Dickey. Standing up into the breeze. Murphy! Courageous mark. Bradley. Carlton look unstoppable at the moment, working well into the breeze. Big pack of players at centre half forward. No mark from that contest. Kick off the ground, comes up towards the 50-metre line. Chance for Beaumont again. Takes the hand pass and bombs it long into the goal square. A contest, and Paxman gets back to back his judgment. Takes it over to DiIulio.
It's a good mark.
Had his hands full with Steve Silvani. Onto Mead. DiIulio quick to man up. over the head of Fraser Brown. Now can Port get something going here? Wilson. Lyle. Camporelli brushed aside fairly easily. Koutofides in front. The big hands go up. Not a bit of free kick anyway for a high tackle. Justin Murphy. There must be 3 Justin Murphys out there. Kicks to centre wing. Aaron Hamill. Not a great kick. Mead. Solid as a rock. Oh, there he is again. Ratton. Diulio. There's the team-oriented thing out in front of goal. Rice for Fraser Brown. A little give to Camporelli off the left. Franchina 20 metres out from goal. Should have done better. One behind.
Yeah, should have done better, but he had to take the ball right at his ankles, and as he came up, he didn't quite have balance.
A big cheer in the Carlton Social Club when they see Peter Dean come onto the ground for his last game. The veteran, according to David Parkin, would make a very good senior coach, and who am I to argue with that? Bradley. Brown, no, can't quite drag it in. Diulio's already kicked 3. A little give this time. Dickey couldn't handle it. Mead, caught. Wilson over the top. Paxman in the right back pocket. Not too many options open for him. There's a whistle. You'll get a free kick.
Yes, and Justin Murphy had controlled that one too. Free kick to Paxman. Brett Ratton just dealt with him a bit unnecessarily.
Murphy, 10 kicks already. He's been terrific.
Well, Port Adelaide are making untold amount of errors here at the present time, and Carlton, well, they could have just about put them away at this stage because they've had most of the play in this second quarter. They haven't been able to get the score on the board just as yet. But
Peter Dean on the ground. Jared?
Yeah, and what a great player he has been. Let's hope he can get a number of kicks and really have a big day.
Well, there he is, straight into the action already. Gets it to Camporelli. Oh, magnificent evasion. And he kicks it up to Whitnell, who marks in the left forward pocket. He decides to centre it, looking for White. Couldn't find him. Should have done better. And Port get out of danger. Dew up to Eagleton, who took that screamer in the first quarter. Eagleton down towards left half forward. He was looking for Treadray, but he's out-muscled, out everything. Mannon's got the foot. He's taken the mark.
And the Carlton defence has been absolutely superb. We've seen Koutofides intercept one, Manton that time, and also Allen got back and intercepted one.
Sexton hasn't done much wrong either. There he is, Peter Dean. More bandages than father from Koutofides.
I don't think they've worked out who's standing Dean yet.
Ratton. Whitnell. Might have been Silvani the target, but he shepherded well and lets Bradley take the mark.
It was only a matter of time before Carlton get a shot at goal. They've just had so much of the ball grown.
Well, and have not hurt Port Adelaide enough on the scoreboard. I know they're leading by 6 goals, but on a hot day, you would expect that they can't maintain this effort all day, so they really want to put it beyond doubt.
Bowed onto the ground.
Yeah, Brent Heaver came off after that fumble previously.
So Craig Bradley. Plenty of fans here at Football Park for him. He's got the goal.
Yes, he's not one of those Port Adelaide players that's going to be booed by the Port Adelaide people when he came back. He's just a wonderful champion. And if you're having a shot for goal, you just see Dean there getting the ball forward. He hasn't been picked up by a Port player. Ratton's been very good. Quick hands. And we're not sure whether it was meant for Bradley, but he had a hole to run into. And as he always does, just converted it magnificently. A wonderful shot for goal.
Now there's a free kick. Something's happening off the ball here.
Yeah, Bradley and Eagleton were at each other.
Bradley gets the free kick.
He saw the second one, not the first one.
On to Brown. And on to Whitnell.
Bruce Abernathy.
Yeah, Port Adelaide just playing frustrated football for a young team. That's you're seeing these scuffles and stupid stuff happening. It's not that hard for just to stand next to your opponent. The trouble is half the Port Adelaide team don't know who their opponent is.
Can't disagree with that. And he has shaved the post with that shot. So 2 behinds to Lance Whitnell. We were behind John Elliott and his wife Amanda on the flight over here. And John said, well, they're going to win quite easily today, I think. And I think he may be right. His comment was that Carlton should be given a wild card to the finals this year. The way they're playing today, you reckon they'd give it a bit of a shake.
You wouldn't write Port Adelaide off yet, though, Peter.
Lyle, well, gee, they've got a bit of work to do, Cornsey.
But they seem to play better when they've got that work in front of them rather behind them.
Cornsey. Anyway, Burgoyne.
Well, you've got to be positive, Peter.
I suppose that's fair enough. James has got the mark. But gee, when it's 27 to 71, they have got some work ahead of them.
It's only 7 goals halfway through the second quarter.
Wouldn't be worried about the flight over. Flight over's not a concern. It's the flight going home that's our worry.
That's a kick. Look at that kick.
That's a great kick and goal from James. Boy, did they need that.
Well, you just never know. There's been plenty of teams, 7 goals up halfway through the second quarter, looked at the scoreboard and thought, how easy is this? And just come off their approach, maybe just 5%. The other team, of course, lifts their endeavour.
True enough. Well, Brisbane came back from, what was it, 45 points down to beat Hawthorn at the Gabba once. Hawthorn came back from about 9 goals down to beat Geelong at Optus Oval. So it does happen, but they might be the exceptions that prove the rule.
Port Adelaide came from 8 goals down last year to beat the Western Bulldogs at Optus Oval.
And every time it starts in the middle of the ground, that's where they've got to get on top, because it's been Ratton, Bradley and Murphy and Brown slaughtering them.
And you've probably got to throw Diulio and Camporelli on the wings as well, Jarrett.
So all their midfield runners.
Yep.
They certainly have brought Carlton back. They look like wooden spooners, but after the State of Origin matches, Carlton has been a particularly good side. White over the top, Murphy, Ratton, Diulio. Crowd says Mead was being held and he'll get the free kick.
Well, the umpire wasn't in great position, but he was good enough to see the infringement. The crowd certainly saw it.
This sort of guy's worked hard. He always does. Nathan Eagleton, Bradley and Wilson. Wilson outnumbered 2 to 1. Still gets his kick, so well played. Wilson to left half forward, Rice in front. Manton. Counted into Burgoyne. Ball there to be won. Treadrace on the bottom of it. Carlton players looking for a free kick for holding the ball, but there won't be one. It will be a ball up about 53 metres out from goal. Halfway through the second quarter here at Football Park. It's all Carlton so far. Missed by Brown. So maybe Port. McKay can't pick it up either. Fraser Brown's got a second try at it. And again, the umpire will have to bounce it.
And Jack Carl's put Nathan Eagleton, who started brilliantly, then faded and then got tagged, on to Craig Bradley. So he's got rid of Franchina, and I think that's what they've got to do. They've got to just give each one of those players a direct opponent. Michael Wilson should come on and go onto a Brown, etc. So each of them is accountable.
McKay lost it. Beaumont brushes a tackle. Franchina's got it. It's going to come back.
Free kick, a high tackle.
And the player on screen will take it, Simon Beaumont.
He's been quite steady too, hasn't he?
He has. A footer. Kuda. Lockwood on the mark. Brings it across the ground. Peter Dean was his target. Fabian Francis. Long hand pass. Now a chance for Bode. Taking the hand pass from Dickey. Dew on his left foot. Will he bend it back? Yes, he squeezed it in.
Has he? Has he? He has. Well, I know you Victorians don't want to believe it, but there's a subtle change creeping over this game. And some good desperate work here from Port Adelaide. James to Dickey to Bode. Oh, he's a left footer, could have gone for it. The handball to Dew. Dew is a left footer, knew where the goals were, and gee whiz, it just scraped in.
It did it.
Not a bad decision, actually.
Another coat of varnish, it would have hit the post. Very handy goal, kicked by Stuart Dew. Still 32 points at the margin here at Footy Park. We've got 8 minutes remaining though before half-time. Allen, he's been pretty good at the centre bounces. In fact, unbeatable. Camporelli went through without it. Lyle McKay underneath it and should mark. That was courage. Something he lacks little in that department. Ratton had to wait, and that's out of bounds. Looks like an unmade bed, Brett Ratton, but boy, he can play footy.
Yes, it's not the best looking footy, but I don't think David Parker would care.
Fabian Francis running around with Fraser Brown.
Ratton again. Camporelli.
He continually gives him 5 metres latitude, and that's all he needs.
Koutafidis wraps up his opponent. That's a free kick.
He just got the arm, unfortunately, for Port Adelaide.
Lyle not quick enough. Murphy up to White in front of Wilson.
Matthew Allen off, and Big Porter coming on.
Murphy again. Well, Lyle just a bit too fancy there. Franco, in fact. I think you used the word lairising before, Cornsey. Lockwood, youngster from the Geelong Falcons, 52 metres out, centering kick, looks for Stuart Dew. He's out of the contest. In fact, he propped underneath it and lets Beaumont take the ball.
He did the right thing, Peter.
Yeah, Treadway was coming in, wasn't he?
Yeah, he went for the crumb, and it was just a great mark.
The opportunity was lost, though, because Lockwood should have drawn the opponent and given it over to Burgoyne.
Franchina, Wilson punches clear. He'll take it over in front of Fraser Brown for a throw-in.
Well, at least there's a contest. Port Adelaide crowd sensing it too. There's quite a bit of noise in this stadium.
Just get the next couple of goals. It certainly would lift their spirits. Porter on the ground to contest with Lade. Murphy.
This man has had too much of the ball.
Has he? Well. Whitman the target. Better judgment. Takes the mark. Could have given to Diuvio, who was running into goal, but he'll go back and have a shot for his first.
You try and work out why this young man is becoming such a good player. It's not anything to do with his explosive athleticism. It's his football judgment. And there's 2 big Port Adelaide players. Brett Chalmers flew at it, not convincingly. And Whitnell able to complete the goal. Great football judgment.
Comes from a great footy family. His father, Graham, played for Carlton. 12-5 to 6-3, so effectively double their score as Port makes another change. Coming on as Mark Harwood again for his second run. And who's come off? Chalmers.
Yeah, Brett Chalmers, they weren't happy with his attack on that ball in that last contest with Whitnell.
Whitnell getting his first goal. As you said, Claus, he probably wouldn't want a store gift, but he's got a great footy brain. Lade, Rice applies a tackle.
And that goal was really important in the context of the game. Port Adelaide were sensing they had a chance. Carlton just able to steady now.
The Blues vying for the honour of the best side outside the 5.
They don't win any prizes for it, though.
Bode, no, they don't. Manton in front. Gets it away from Treadway, who hasn't been able to have an influence on the game just yet.
But you called it, Peter, because Manton was in front, and he's done that to Warren Treadway all day. And I think if Warren Treadway's going to get into the game, he's got to take front position a bit more consistently today.
Late, of course, decided tonight. This is the last home and away game. Josh Franco has a ping at the goals, out of bounds on the full. Murphy will take the free kick. 11-5 so far.
He doesn't need any free ones.
No. He's picking them up everywhere. Good mark to Lockwood.
He has got a very good pair of hands.
A very talented youngster. Look at Treadway again. Koutafidis, Hamill. Koutafidis almost held there. Sexton. Franco. He's got it, but he was tackled high, so a ball up's probably a fair decision in that case. 45 metres out.
I think the umpire deemed that he slipped into it or ducked his head, but if we had a replay, I think we'll see he slipped. He was taken high.
Bode coming off again, didn't have much of a run because Chalmers is coming back, it looks like. And no, it's not Chalmers, it's going to be Matthew Primus is coming back. Ball comes up in the interchange direction. Mead got a hand to it, couldn't complete the mark, it's out of bounds.
Yes, and John Carl just wanting to extend the Carlton defence by having that extra big player in the forward line for Port Adelaide. Matthew Primus is going to go along, stand right alongside Warren Treadray.
Lyle. Just a half forward. Punch away by McKay. He's only got Dickey again. Lockwood. A quick kick. Whoa, Wilson taken high. Umpire lets it go. Now Port through Burgoyne. Was explosive in the first quarter. Can he bend that one back? He can't. That's one behind.
Well, you've got a big bloke, Matthew Primus, down there. Top of the square would have been the high priority, high percentage shot. And, well, we know he kicked a brilliant goal from the angle in the first quarter, but there wasn't the big bloke down there. You got something for us, Abba?
Yeah, you mentioned Matthew Primus when he came on. They say he's fit, but he certainly isn't running around or has his head up like he is fit. He's just moping around the forward line.
Rice to Franchina. Oh, beautiful pickup. Tackled by James. Ball jarred free subsequently. Diulio may get a free kick here. Attacker's going Port's way. Kingsley. Eagleton. Got a long kick. Treadray in front. Manton behind. Koulifides, a little gift to Beaumont. Hand pass a little bit too severe for him. That may be a free kick. No, the umpire says play on. That was a throw. Rice had it, lost it, still got it. Is it holding the footy? No, sir. Play on. Fraser Brown from McKay. Carlton trying to work it out through Franchina. Brushes one tackle. Well played. Franchina goes to, in my opinion, the man of the match so far, Murphy. Murphy up towards centre wing. Silvani, long way from goal. Gets the ball successfully away from Mark Harwood. It's a throw-in.
It's not a regular part of Port Adelaide's arsenal, but Justin Murphy needs the old-fashioned classic negative tag.
Exactly right. He's just allowed to run around. He's got too much space. And his confidence is just sky. Well, it's almost arrogance now. It's not just confidence.
He's so deft with his foot skills that if he gets the ball, Carlton get it further downfield in their possession.
Porter, Ratton and Bradley combined for Carlton. Now Camporelli from Silvani. Diulio, he's already kicked 3. Gee, that was almost Mead being held. Paxman hits the deck. Ball shuffled to the front. Hamill over his shoulder. Diulio and a bounce on the full.
His vision wasn't quite good enough, Aaron Hamill there. He had Diulio by himself.
Might get another shot at it pretty quickly.
Oh, this man
Camporelli,
again.
Murphy, Camporelli, clear of Stevens, puts it out in front of goal. Mark needed here, Lade's got it. Started on the bench, came on midway through the first quarter. Dickey.
Now, Brayton Lyle is Justin Murphy's direct opponent, but he's running around trying to get kicks. He only has to even up or take Justin Murphy out of the contest. He's going to average about 40 possessions today, and that'd be a great job well done.
But interestingly, when Port Adelaide have got the ball and Lyle's running forward, Murphy really working to get with him.
Silvani kicks out in front of goal. Danger here for Port. Mead gets it back to Wilson. Now Stevens, who's got a panic to move in. One bounce, 2. Tries to draw a man, long hand pass to Paxman. Paxman from centre half forward. Now he is a long kick with the breeze, and he has missed to the far side.
Well, good positive running though. There's nothing wrong with taking it on. If you're crossing 50 and they've got the breeze behind you, have a shot at goal. The kick wasn't good enough. Stewart due off as we speak, and Tommy Carr coming on for his first run today.
This is Beaumont.
And Adam White warming up on the boundary on the interchange bench for Carlton.
Murphy.
Somehow Brendan Lade's finished at full back. That'd be because Patrick just took the last shot of goal. Good teamwork by him.
Now Wilson from Paxman. Confronted by Silvani. Kicks to half forward. Bradley punches to the side. Sexton or Beaumont, they'll combine. Sexton kicks across the hands of Carr. And the mark is taken by Donald Dickey. Centering kick from him. Franco to Kingsley. 52 metres out. Yeah, sort of a kick at the post, did it? No, it's still in play. It's a big chance for Port. Primus. Yes, no, maybe. He's got it underneath him. That's not holding the footy, surely.
Well, I really didn't think that one through. Primus brought the ball to the ground properly. He should have then just provided the wall and prevented the Carlton defenders coming through and just left it for Treadray.
You can see the slow twitch fibres trying to get the body moving, and he just wasn't quite quick enough.
Well, they desperately need a goal here. McKay.
Desperate.
Flips it up, Koutafidis. In fact, flips it up there. That was just about a throw.
Had to be a throw.
Yes.
Sexton. Good long clearing kick by the Carlton defender. Massey on the ground, number 3. Camporelli, great ball skills to pick up. Centering kick by the Carlton winger. Inside the centre square. Oh, Whitnall, that is a great tackle. Jarred free for Silvani. Francis has got it. The umpire will come in to ball it up.
Yes, Mead is now on Whitnall, and Mead's extra pace and athleticism just creating a bit of trouble. But Lance Whitnall,
It's a great tackle.
well, he couldn't believe it. Mark Harwood's run straight into his arms. What about that bounce?
Bradley and Leighton Porter never had a chance at that. Franco. Now there's the siren to end the first quarter as Carr's kick was smothered. The Port, well, they reined Carlton in, but the Blues' first quarter, when they kicked 9 goals 3, certainly stood them in good stead. They only added the further 3 goals 2. Port added 2 goals, so a lot more even the second stanza of the match. But when you lead by 5 goals at the first change, you really do set yourself up well for a good chance of taking out the 4 points. So half-time at Footy Park, Carlton 12-5, 77, leading Port 6-5, 41.
6-goal gap.
Breeze appears to have dropped as well. He's given it a nice old roost, just to the right, I fancy. So 1 behind, and that makes the difference 35 points. Bruce.
Yeah, Matthew Allen's on the Carlton bench. They tell me he has a jarred knee, so the way the Blues are going on, it's unlikely he'll be back on.
And what about the wind? It does look as if it has really dropped out.
It has dropped off. It's absolutely beautiful down here, Jared. We all wish we were 20 years younger.
Can't touch that.
I'd be 4.
Rice to Murphy. Cooter's got it at half-back. Kingsley stands the mark. Justin Murphy, I reckon there's 6 of him out there. Kicks to centre wing. Big punch away. That's out of bounds.
Wilson. Yeah, it was a brave decision, but I don't think there was too much doubt about what Michael Wilson wanted to do. Well, you've seen people get away with a lot worse than that.
He was hand passing to somebody in the crowd, I think. Punch away by Paxman. 2 Port players are there. It beats both of them over the line. Wilson this time tries to drag it in. The umpire says throw it in.
Yeah, well, they put out of the crowd saying do it again.
So right next to the interchange gates in front of our commentary position here at Footy Park. No goals scored so far in the 3rd quarter. Camporelli missed it. Kick away comes from Harwood. Still on the centre wing. Chance for Wilson again. Bobs it long down towards left half forward. Chalmers. Burgoyne. McKay. He snaps and needs to bounce the right way. Bounced the wrong way. Sexton with Eagleton. It's a foot race. Eagleton works his way to the front. Well played, but the boundary line is too close. It's out of bounds, about 40 metres from goal. And trouble for Carlton. Looks like Murphy coming off. Bruce.
I was just going to mention it. Michael Wilson went in on the ball to pick him up, but he's gone. He's on the bench. So Michael Wilson just a bit of fun on the ball instead of his favourite back pocket now.
Well, he doesn't look too good, Murphy. We'll get some news on him when we can in just a few moments. But Carlton's best player off the ground, Camporelli. White.
Just took that a little bit easier. Nearly bobbled out of his chest.
This is Chris Massey, youngster who played in the under-18s grand final last year at the MCG. Taken number 7 in the draft from the Dandenong Stingrays. Porter. Mark at half forward. Tries to get it moving quickly. Diulio applies a tackle. It's going to be a Port free kick for in the back. Taken down by Tom Carr. Started on the bench today. Has had a couple of stints.
Port have got a loose man going at this stage with Roger Jones just pushing out on the wing by himself. Just to get possession.
Now Paxman. Oh, terrible.
Kick straight to his opponent. Paxman had run down, but Silvani had run even further. His kick went straight to him.
Silvani kicks it back to Stevens. It's kick to kick. Stevens from left half back. McKay got underneath it, recovers well. A hand pass again to Silvani. Again to Fraser Brown. As the Blues trying to set something up from right centre wing. Brown kicks in short and he finds Aaron Hamill. Could have gone to one of 3 players Brett Ratton. Oh, that's a great mark taken by White over the top of Dickey.
He's playing an interesting role, Adam White. He's just sitting in that hole about 35 to 45 metres out from goal. And he's popped up with a couple of nice centre-half forward type grabs.
Hamill. That looks pretty good. He's kicked a goal.
Well, I tell you what, they made hard work of it after the mark from White, which was a tremendous mark. He had to make good ground to get over Dickey. And they just persisted with a couple of short little possessions. And Hamill in the end had to kick around his body. Now just watch this. The kick isn't quite complete. Handball is good, but Hamill turned the ball and got plenty of boot on that ball. Got it in the air and came back very, very well.
Aaron Hamill, the 10th Carlton player to score a goal. 13-5 to 6-6, 15 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Kick off the ground from Bradley. White again. A little give. Stevens punches it, only to see Beaumont on the end of it. He fumbles. Stevens comes at him again. Diulio's already kicked three over the head of Wilson. Kicks into the pocket. Whitnell takes it in front of Mead.
Great strength in hands there, Lance Whitnell, but also read the ball just the best.
He does read play so well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a brilliant footy mind, as has been well articulated over the season. And he's just at 2 or 3 metres in front. That's all you need.
And the one thing he does do when his hands take the ball, he gets the ball down really quickly, which makes it difficult for anyone to spoil.
Whitnell for his second. He's kicked it.
Well, that's it.
Well, I thought that late charge was going to come. It had to come in the first 10 minutes of this quarter. When you are trailing Graham by such a significant amount, 6 goals at half-time, you've got to do it in bursts. You've got to be 3 goals down, perhaps at three-quarter time, and give yourself a chance in the last. But at this stage, it's just getting hopeless.
Good grab.
Difference out to a mammoth 47 points here at Football Park now. Porter gives Carlton again first use of it. Chris Massey, his hand pass is intercepted. Ratton punches it further downfield. Oh, is that a high tackle against Francis? The umpire calls play on. Franchina will do just that. Silvani, and they'll rush it behind, but he may bring it back.
He's not going to. I think both players indecisive there. That's where the advantage rule is. No advantage whatsoever. This is quite accidental. You see, he actually slips as Francis goes to tackle him, and
Like
barely made contact, in fact.
I think, though, once a player accepts that he's been given the advantage rule, if he makes a fundamental error as Franchina did then it's not really, I think, up to the umpire to bring it back.
Eagleton's kick is short. Massey caught behind Wilson. 47 points. That's 8 goals. Koutafidis couldn't drag it down. James quickly onto the left. Nobody at home. The lights are out. Bruce.
Yeah, Justin Murphy came off with a left ankle. He was in quite a bit of pain early, but he's been up walking around there, restrapping it, so he could get back on the park.
Well, he's played a terrific game. 16 kicks, 7 marks, 6 hand passes.
Got some Brownlow medal votes invested, I would think, at this stage already.
Irrespective of what happens, James. Manton will punch from behind. Doesn't get a good handle on it. Snap it, goal. Came down there from Donald Dickey. And he registers just the one behind.
Sharp work from Donald. He just didn't quite get it straight. He hasn't had the greatest of days today off the wing. The Carlton wingmen have been very, very good in Diulio and Camporelli.
Glenn Manton. To McKay. Again short. Koutafidis. Forward of half-back. Now Rice. Up and under kick. He lets the breeze do most of the work. Tries to get it down to Whitnell. Port with the numbers. On the end of it is Wilson. Wilson quickly kicks it back towards centre wing. Punch away by Lockwood. Tries to find James. Unsuccessful in that. Rice tries to tie it up. Successful in managing that. And it will be a ball up on centre wing. Just off the centre square. And Rice gets up holding his left eye. No blood there, so it doesn't look as though he's going to have to come off. If there is blood there, the umpire hasn't seen it.
Free kick downfield.
There is a free kick downfield. Right at the point of the square. So falling apart for Port Adelaide. Silvani.
Yes, it was a courageous attack on the ball. Darren Mead going backwards, but Darren Mead's down and Lance Whitnell's by himself. Silvani now looking at Whitnell, who's pointing and says shoot for goal.
Right on 50 metres. Son of Factor. Whitnell to the front. Lyle. A quick kick out of the congestion on Dickey. That's a terrible bounce, confronted by Porter and Beaumont. No options for him, so it goes to the boundary line. Burgoyne's out there with McKay, and they trundle it over the line close to centre wing. 46 points the margin here at Footy Park. 12.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. So you would reckon from here a win for Carlton is a formality. Punched down by Harwood. Gets it again. Ratton. Bradley around Wilson. Inside 50. 2-on-1 in favour of Port down there. None can bring it down. Tackled by Lyle, ineffective. Likewise Camporelli. Mead's hand pass into space just outside 50. Wilson missed wide. He goes to ground with a football. Crowd wants holding it. The umpire says no. So a bounce down. In the Ansett Cup next year, they're going to experiment by throwing it in the air in situations such as this.
And Porter dropping right back in the goal square, the ruckman.
Over the top, Hamill. It went past Wilson. Harwood's hand pass, ineffective. Oh, gee, Franchina went through solidly. Bradley confronted. A little toe poke to get it away from Wilson. Lyles nearly got him. That's holding the footy, surely.
Sure.
Fabian Francis' long hand pass is gleefully accepted by Stevens. Clear of Beaumont, long shot at goal, and through for one behind.
Well, it was great desperation by Braden Lyle. He just had to get to Craig Bradley. Got one hand and wouldn't let go. And Nick Stevens, who's had a pretty good first year, not quite accurate with his kick.
Manton. Brown. Missed it. Taken on by Mead. He's taken Brown over the... James it is. Let's go down to Abbas on the boundary.
Yeah, Justin Murphy, he's been for a bit of a jog along the boundary, so it says a bit for the physiotherapy skills at Carlton.
They imported the water from Lewis a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you, Jared. I knew you'd come in there. It's an obvious cue. I'm glad you took it.
Did you see any needles, though, Abba?
Careful. And again, the crowd wants holding the ball on Fraser Brown. And again, the umpire shakes his head.
Well, at least they've been consistent in this latter half of the season, giving the player with the ball some opportunity to dispose of it once he's been tackled. The crowd perhaps not quite adjusting, depending on which side you are.
Interesting matchup at full forward for Carlton. They've got Michael Wilson picking up Porter.
McKay. Now, it's coming back. There's a free kick. It's going to Port Power.
Porter is the ruckman, Jared. He's now having to dash forward, and he just seems to be playing forward of the play, such as Carlton's dominance.
Dickey. Brings it to the other side for the run of Mead. Chalmers got one for his corner. That takes a pretty good mark nonetheless.
Leading well, Brett Chalmers. He's shown he has the ability to do that. He's playing at full forward. Warren Treadray's at centre half forward. And Chalmers has taken a couple of very strong marks on the lead.
Bowed onto the ground. Can't see who went off.
Adam Kingsley went off.
That's Cornsey. Now Chalmers has shot at goal. Boy, do they need one. And he's kicked it. Now Chalmers kicks his first and Port Adelaide's first for the quarter. They cracked the half century but still trail by 39 points, so that's 3 more. And the difference was at half-time.
Donald Dickey not sure what to do with it. He went wide, Darren Mead streaming down from centre-half back. And the kick is nicely weighted, just allowing Brett Chalmers to run it. Didn't really have to extend himself. And one thing he can do is kick the ball tremendous distances.
Brett Chalmers' first goal. Port Power's first for the quarter at the halfway mark of the third term. 39 points the margin. Porter nearly gets it to Bradley. Opposite number 11 is Eagleton. A quick kick, only as far as Sexton. To Brown, confronted by Stevens. Dickey needs to get a good bounce. Past DiIulio. Onto Lyle. DiIulio's nearly got him. And the pressure was good enough to bring the error. Out of bounds on the full. Brown to take the free kick for Carlton at left centre wing. Porter in from the side. Harwood was there. Ratton taken to ground. Franco. Dickey. Koutafidis and Treadway. Was Treadway being held? The crowd asked that question. Brown. Still Koutafidis. DiIulio. Geez, quick. Whitnell. A little give. Camporelli. Low trajectory kick. And he puts it through.
Yes. And DiIulio and Camporelli and Whitnell all being very good players. DiIulio and Camporelli off the wings. And Whitnell just with too much space. You cannot give him space because his hands are so good. Koutafidis running forward. The crowd not happy. He hadn't given a free kick away. DiIulio.
And this is what we're talking about, isn't it? Just 5 metres there and the kick just exposed it.
Beautiful kick. But both those wingmen running forward, which is creating all sorts of havoc for Port Adelaide. If they can't intercept the ball.
45 points the margin. Justin Murphy back onto the ground. Porter up high. Brown. Carlton winning it continually out of the centre. Harwood gets it back again from Lyle. Across half back he goes. Kicks towards centre wing. Massey might have given away the free kick. It's a mark in any case. Donald Dickey. Bowen Lockwood. McKay on the mark. What a great kick. Beaumont.
He completed the mark, but he didn't actually keep his head up and the eyes firmly on it. He sensed what was coming behind. Nevertheless, he's played a very good game.
He has. Dickey in front. At the back is Harwood.
And he's done pretty well since he's come off of Port Adelaide. He's attacked the ball strongly.
Harwood's kicked a half forward, a one-on-one contest. Nobody can bring it down. Wilson kicks up towards full forward. Chalmers and Manton. Chalmers taken down on the tackle, then applies one himself. Kick comes out towards the boundary line from Sexton. That's out of bounds, right on 50. 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Carlton in command all day. And Port are going to make any inroads into this deficit. They've got to do it in the next few minutes. Camporelli. Up the centre wing. Whittle, long way from goal, marking in front of Mead. He hasn't done much wrong today. When the ball's come down in his direction, he's marked it.
Played in front.
Silvani underneath it. Reads the play well. Shoots out the long hand pass. They shouldn't get a goal here, you reckon. Massey to Bradley, confronted by Eagleton. DiIulio over the top. Massey looks for a free kick. There's none there, according to the umpire.
Yes, if you can't give the ball accurately in the forward line, or you can't take it cleanly, you just give the opposition defenders a chance to run you down and close you down. That's what Port Adelaide were able to do then.
It's out of bounds. Eagleton in the thick of things. So right next to the behind post, to throw in. Lockwood off the ground, and Matty Primus back on. Bradley taps it down. Hamill's snapshot. Up and under. Out of bounds on the full.
From 5 rows back. The Port Adelaide's forward line, they're trying to keep Brett Chalmers one out in the goal square and everyone else forward, but Matty Primus probably needs to get on the ball. It's not going to be too much advantage him sitting in a forward pocket.
Eagleton to Francis as they work it across the ground. And away he goes. This is Peter Burgoyne. He can have another bounce. Nobody confronting him. He can have another 3. He's got in short. And then he's found Stevens.
I think that's the biggest panic I've ever seen a player have to run into.
It was huge. I think it's the Northern Territory. And there's plenty back there now. Stevens will bomb it long. Manton. He nearly brought it down. And the Carlton defence tied up. It'll be balled up. 5 metres from goal. Chalmers against Koutafidis. Manton knocks it down actually. Camporelli. Dean back onto the ground. The veteran playing his last game. 248th and last for Peter Dean. And what a fine footballer he's been for Carlton. Snap at goal by Dickey. Off target and one behind.
Yes, well, they're peppering the goals, but not making too much impression on the scoreboard.
It's hard to believe that Port Adelaide beat Carlton by 89 points in the first part of the season.
It's a fair turnaround, isn't it? Add that up for me.
Well,
120 points, isn't it, or something, or thereabouts?
Particularly on respective home grounds, too.
Yeah, that's the amazing part about it. So Murphy, with that ankle re-strapped, seems to be okay. Kicks in well. Franchina. He'll go again. Dickey chasing. Massey. Massey kicks from left centre wing. And Primus is simply too tall.
Primus is on the ball. Brendan Lay's now gone to centre half forward.
Eagleton. Like his game.
The kick was deplorable. It gave the forward line player no chance at all.
That was Treadway. He was caught well out of position. Opposite number 16 is Camporelli. Bends it back for Sexton. Then he had his head taken off. He ducked into the laid tackle. The umpire calls play on. Past Wilson. Harwood reads it best. Tried to get it back to Wilson, who was on the back foot. Bradley off the ground. Bode. Josh Franco. Kicks the half for well. One of them was going to take a big mark. In the end, it was James.
And Dean Rice had 2 Port Adelaide players use him as a stepladder.
To Dickey.
Well, Dickey was the other player who flew with James. He had the presence of mind just to drop into the space. Have a look at it. Oh, Dean Rice. He's crunched from both sides.
Winnerman Wareham. Well, can he kick the goal? Just to add some respectability to Port's scoreboard. He's kicked 2 behind so far. That one looks a little bit better, or is it? It's not. 3 behind.
Well, there's been games when Port Adelaide's inaccuracy has cost them now. I'm not suggesting it's costing them this game, but it would at least give them an opportunity to be back in the game and increase the respectability of the scoreboard.
43 points the margin. It was 31 at quarter time, so they've been largely competitive, Port Adelaide, except in that first quarter. Rice to Brown. Koutafidis. Low trajectory pass, chopped off by Francis. Francis goes out wide. Now Dickey's in front. Oh, Franchina from behind takes the grab. Step ladders galore out there. Koutafidis. Massey. The youngster to the veteran, Peter Dean. Bradley, speaking of veterans. Primus is in the road.
So yeah, they may just have waited a bit too long to get him back on the ball and laid to centre half forward.
Beaumont and Bode.
Oh, Matthew Primus's kick, Gerald. He's done a couple of those in recent years where he's tried to cross the play, been off balance.
He's had a very good year, though, Primus. I know around State of Origin time was a toss-up between him and Jeff White, and Jeff White did get the knock, got the nod, but Primus is, I think, one of the very good developing ruckmen in the competition.
He's had a couple of very good years.
Bode, Franco and Burgoyne. He's confronted by Franchina, dragged off it, and is holding the ball. Crowd didn't like that. Whitnell. Oh, what a mark. Ratton coming off with a goal zone, and he has. Great footy from Carlton.
Well, that is magnificent. Port Adelaide crowd angry with the decision against Peter Burgoyne, but I think it was fair enough.
Yep.
He actually put the ball on the ground and left it there. That's dropping the ball. When the kick came to Ratton, just one hand. Now, well, we didn't see the end. Well, he's not protesting too much. The kick is not great, but Ratton controls it just beautifully.
He's a tremendous player, Brett Ratton. Still unheralded in some quarters, but at Carlton, he's been a great player for many years.
Whitnell off, and Hamill comes back on in another move made by David Parkin.
Whitnell off. Why?
Well, you're the ex-coach. You tell me, don't ask me. Franco. Good tackle by Beaumont. Sees the ball jarred free on centre wing. Eagleton, well, he's knocked up trying to get kicks. Terrific youngster. Down to Primus. Just outclassed today, Port Adelaide. Murphy confronts him. A hurried kick in. Bounces over the head of Bode. Rice from Porter. Beaumont. They work it around. Camporelli runs into trouble and couldn't get out of it. Burgoyne. Eagleton. And he's kicked the goal. Well worked, son. Terrific goal. He is a try.
No, he's a tremendous player, Nathan Eagleton. He's just about the favourite player, I would have thought, for neutral observers in this side. But you just get the feeling, Graham, that Carlton are so far in front that they've just dropped it back a gear, and there's a couple of guys just having a bit of a rest. And if Port Adelaide put the juice on for the next couple of minutes, they might kick a few quick ones.
Second goal to Nathan Eagleton, well worked. 2.5 minutes to three-quarter time. I'll say one thing about Port Adelaide, they never give up. And Bradley never stops running. Bradley from left half forward. Hamill back onto the ground, as we were saying, replacing Whitnell.
And just magnificent skills by Craig Bradley. Everyone was looking forward to Silvani. And Hamill had dropped into that spot in front of the goal square, and Bradley on his left boot just put it where, well, the Port Adelaide defender had absolutely no chance whatsoever.
Aaron Hamill, in relative terms, only a youngster learning the game, but big things at Carlton, as I said, when you get given Mark McClure's number, they do expect you to perform. And he has kicked straight.
It's his second goal this quarter, and he's promising. He's promising that he will develop into a good player. There's no doubt about that. Probably worked in Stephen Kernahan's shadow in those early couple of years he was at Carlton. And now Lance Whitnell has grabbed the key centre-half forward position.
So where would you play Hamill?
Well, I guess there's a role either as a floating full forward pocket centre-half forward where he is now. But he's going to have to either develop that role at full forward or centre-half forward. He plays well out of a forward pocket when they decide to play the taller forward pocket.
Brown.
It's one-way traffic out of the centre.
It is, has been most of the day, hence the scoreboard. Diulio, they're getting plenty of opportunities, the Carlton forwards. Mead, quick hand pass. Burgoyne, Franco, shepherded by Paxman, and he subsequently decides to go for a run. Massey up in front. Dean traps it just inside the line. In fact, it's out of bounds.
Well, the kick from Josh Franco had no punch in it. It just floated up in the air, and it allowed the Carlton defenders to get underneath it. Didn't give his players across the centre any real chance to take it.
Ratton to Camporelli. Into the stack up there, and a bit of work under the ball.
Fabian France's left elbow doing a bit of work there too.
Graham, what does Port Adelaide need to take the next step and become a finalist?
They need that centre-half forward, there's no doubt, and they probably need one really classy player in the centre of the ground. They've got good, honest players and good, honest runners in the centre of the ground, but there's no Justin Murphy who's developed into a real classy player. There's certainly no Craig Bradley. And Warren Treadray will develop, I think so will Bowen Lockwood, but they need either Darren Poole to play a full year at centre-half forward or somebody else to really dominate that position.
Dean to Mead, and they come from all directions. That's out of bounds in front of James. That will be a throw-in. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter.
And the result of the game is well to say immaterial, but it's probably very important to John Cale.
Well, yeah, he'd be, well, interesting time for him.
Well, there's no doubt that he's done a very good job, and a lot of people think he's done a better than a good job, a fine job in those first couple of years. But they have not made an announcement on his future or the future coach. And you sense that whilst the team's been competitive, a loss like this in the last game may just influence a few board members negatively.
You got any input on that, Abbas?
Yeah, it has been there for about 4 weeks, just that uncertainty. A lot of the other clubs have done it. But Port Adelaide, the board have said right from the start that they'll make the decision after the season, and they've stuck by it. They meet tomorrow to discuss it, so I would expect something very shortly.
Primus and Porter. Another stalemate. Yes, be a big week for a few coaches, Gerard, I think.
Yeah, a number of decisions will be made in the next few weeks, but who knows how boards are going to operate.
Dean, who's had 4 possessions today. Give him a hand pass for that one. Peter Dean's final game. Silvani dispossessed. Chance for Rice as the hand pass went past Bone, but there's the siren for 3/4 time, and I don't think Ronnie Diulio will be paid that mark. He won't. There's the man we were speaking about. So
he's had a pretty relaxed outlook on life, or he's presented a relaxed front to the public, but he is so serious about his football. There's no doubt that a loss like this would hurt him today.
Well, I think he's been terrific for Port Adelaide, and I hope he's retained. It's 17-5 to 8-10 at Football Park. The final quarter to come. We'll be back with that after this. Start of the final quarter here at Football Park. The difference is 49 points in favour of Carlton. The Blues have won every quarter so far. For Port Pride is on the line. James has a shot at goal, and that's it.
Yeah, it's well done by Brent Heber.
Just on the ground. Hasn't seen much of the footy today.
Well, he's playing for his football life, and he needs a great opportunity. But James has been a good player for Port Adelaide in the last couple of weeks. He's made his mark. His disposal is good, but straight out of the centre is what Port Adelaide have wanted to do. Good attack by Dickey. James running onto the ball, kicks it wonderfully. But just watch Heber. Goes to fly for it. No, it won't. Stops and props. He just allows it. It's good team play.
As I said, Pride on the line. Carlton's won every quarter. Can Port Adelaide take this one out? Primus. The big fella, well, they're getting it out of the centre, which is something they've not done all day. Lyle, that's a long ball. And he's there again, Heber.
Well, did he play on?
Jeez, he played on.
Did he play on? No, he's called it touched off the boot, I think.
It's one behind anyway, whatever he's called.
It's touched off the boot. The call was play on. Heber went to play on, and he was tackled.
Manton goes in short for Franchina. Just gets around Stuart Dew. He might be able to make amends here. Looks for a hand pass. That is holding the footy, is it not? It's not, according to the umpire. Rice. Well, kicks it to the man in front of him. Franchina might have been taken high.
Well, lucky to get out of that one, the Blues, because a couple of fundamental errors being made by all concerned, and this is what run-ons are made of.
Franchina to Camporelli. To Glenn Manton. Manton at right half-back. Tries to draw a man to him. To Koutafidis. To Rice. To young Massey. Courageous mark.
They just need a goal or two early in the piece, Carlton, to really snuff out any challenge that Jack Carl may have instigated at 3/4 time.
Beaumont in trouble. Porter. Fabian Francis. It's out of bounds.
Well, Port Adelaide have made their intentions well known. They're going to make a fierce contest of this last quarter. And Carlton probably just stung a little bit.
Well, David Parkin was... you'd think they were 4 goals behind in the final quarter.
Well, you looked at the scoreboard, you see yourself 8 or 9 goals in front. The subconscious takes over more than anything.
True enough. Lyle's kick.
I think he also would have reminded each and every one of the 21 other players wearing the Carlton Guernsey that Peter Dean, it's the last 30 minutes he's going to be representing the club, and after 247 games, he's owed a victory.
Nelson's kick came to centre wing. Now Lyle. Well, why haven't Port Adelaide been playing like this all the time? They're showing plenty of endeavour early in the final quarter. Manton from Chalmers, who's got him. Manton retains his composure and balance, runs into trouble, runs into Stuart Dew. The crowd wants holding the ball, still the umpire won't play it, and that's out of bounds. Now it's a free kick.
Yeah, delivery out of bounds.
James. Snap at goal. That's pretty good from Nick Stevens, and he's kicked it.
Well, he had to kick it because he had Peter Burgoyne in the goal square, and it was not an easy kick. Nick Stevens, it's his first goal for the day. Got some good work from Port Adelaide to hold it in the area. And very good hands from Roger James. Nick Stevens bent it around, but you can see Peter Burgoyne asking for it. Doesn't matter. They've got their 10th goal and some sort of charge.
Port get their 10th goal for the game, kicked by Nick Stevens. 36 points is the margin. Well, the way they're yelling here at Footy Park, you reckon Port was still in with a chance, and, well, who'd write them off? Massey couldn't get the hand pass away. Ratton, Lockwood missed it. They're certainly going to give them a bit of a scare anyway. Lockwood runs into trouble. Reed Massey down to James at right centre wing. 20-metre hand pass to Dickey.
It's a good kick.
Outside 50, 52 metres from home. Rice in front. They come from all directions, touched off the hands and one behind.
Still had 25 metres to run, Donald Dickey, and he gave himself basically no chance of kicking the goal, letting it go from 60 metres. And when it hits that last couple of yards before the goal line, it's just too easy for the defence just to push the ball over.
Glenn Manton to again bring it back. Well, there's 6 goals out of it. I mean, anything can happen the way footy's played in this day and age. Hamill marks in the back pocket in front of Peter Burgoyne. It would still rate, though, Peter, as an extraordinary comeback.
Oh, gee, the way football has gone this year, though, anything could happen.
Reed, remarkable. Nelly Melba proportions. That's a great mark, young Massey. Recruited from the Dandenong Stingrays. Massey from left half back to centre wing. Mead reads it best. Camporelli, good bump, puts him out of business. Could have given it to Porter or Ratton. Ratton down to Fraser Brown.
He chose the right option, giving it to Ratton.
Looks for Silvani. Paxman in front. Bradley's there, and the ball taken over by James. 55 metres out from Carlton's goal. 35 points the margin, which is pretty well what it was at half-time.
Tommy Carr off, and Adam Kingsley back on for Port Adelaide.
Brown missed it, but the only mistake he's made all day. Dickey applies a tackle on Beaumont. Port works it up towards centre wing, only to see Hamill in the road. Bradley got a hand to it. Ratton, always dangerous. That's a terrible kick. That's out of bounds on the full. Well, Lockwood will take it. Either way, it's a Port ball.
Got the loose man running through the middle too.
Lyle. Nelson comes at him. Stevens on his own. Kingsley, as the boys said, just under the ground. Kingsley, 60 metres from goal. Towering kick. Only one man there, and that's Glenn Manton.
Once again, just kicking from that side of the 50-metre zone. They've basically got to kick your life to get it over the line, and another wasted opportunity.
12 marks to Whitnell. Massey's having a good final quarter. Chris Massey, short of left centre wing. Pretty good vision. Brown was on his own, casually almost. Punts it up towards Bradley, marking in front of his opponent down there at Nathan Eagleton. Moves it on quickly. Centering kick, Whitnell's in front, couldn't take mark number 13. Punts to the front of the goals. Paxman and Wilson. Paxman provides the shepherd. The Norris Rising Star winner kicks out to Lyle. Lyle at left half back. You admire the endeavour of Port Adelaide. They're never beaten. Kingsley in front, but Carlton still very competitive. That's a high tackle according to the umpire. Port free kick.
It was a good effort nevertheless by Ben Nelson to get to that contest.
Excellent.
Lockwood.
And now get back.
At the back is Rice. Reads it best. Dean Rice. Collision course here. Francis late on the scene. That's a great mark taken by Diulio.
It was a great mark. What a great contest, though.
Elusive Ronnie. Dean, well, on his last game, he'll remember that one, Peter Dean, but for all the wrong reasons. He's been fantastic for Carlton. McKay, good tackle on Dew. The ball, will it get to the boundary line? Manton will encourage it, you'd reckon, and does.
Is that deliberate?
Well, yes, but you wouldn't play so, wouldn't you?
Did he touch it before it went out?
He did.
Whitnell back on the ground. He started the game on the last quarter on the interchange bench. David Parkin sensing maybe I should get this young man back on it.
What about crowd? for the last game for 98 for Port and Carlton. Lane to the front. Chance for Burgoyne. He's already kicked 3. He's not going to add to his tally. That's out of bounds, I think. Yes, it is.
Great leg speed,
So
great balance, but he was never ever going to get that back.
Free kick to Nelson. Ben Nelson, who would be known to South Australians via Sturt.
Port Adelaide, Graham, still playing in some aspects playing without discipline. They don't go to the top of the square that often. They continually go for the mark of the year, and they've got so many electrifying and talented players that it is just great footy to watch. But I'm just wondering whether they need to instill a bit more of that to go to the next level.
Yes, it's very difficult because you always want to encourage the player to play the game and play with a bit of flair, but you've got to also play the percentages, and you have to be disciplined to pay the percentages.
Brown to Beaumont to Ratton. Oh, he's kicked it to 3 Carlton players, the 3 interchange players who were standing there in front of the dugout.
Gee, it was a clever kick though, because Michael Wilson was going to smother it. He was just able to get it under his outstretched hands. The Carlton players on the bench, they looked up with some surprise.
Could have got a stat. Bradley to Murphy to Brown. Gee, we've called those players a bit today, haven't we?
Yes.
Camporelli to Bradley. I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of sides in the 8 be glad that Carlton won't be there. Whitnell, I should have done better. Yep. One behind.
Well, that's another one of those percentage things, Scornsy, that we see a lot of players do. It looks fantastic when the bent ball goes through, but it is just a low percentage kick.
The drop punt then, particularly when you're turning on your right leg, looking at the goal. But there's been some miraculous goals scored with the banana ball and the check side punt. And players do tend to fall in love with the kick.
Steve Paxman to bring it in. Equal third in the best and fairest last year. Had his hands full today. Francis kicks to Eagleton, marking in front of Craig Bradley. He's worked his heart out today. Francis again. Down the centre of the ground. Missed by Nelson. Lockwood provides the bump. Comes up with the footy. Well played. Over the head of Ratton. Missed by Francis on the way through. Still Paxman. Stevens a chance if he can pick it up. Gets a good bounce. And decides to have one himself. Manton. Well played in front of Chalmers. That may be in the back. McKay. In front of Burger. That's out of bounds.
But Chalmers just not exploding on the lead then. Not presenting himself, not demanding the ball.
And for all the play that Port Adelaide's had and how dangerous they've looked, they've just kicked the 1 goal in this term.
Gosh, they look magnificent.
Well, they've virtually gone goal for goal since quarter time. That first quarter lost it for them. Murphy. Beaumont just inside the line, just in front of Francis. Okay. Dean, come on Peter, take the mark. He couldn't. No free kick either. Mead breaks away from half-back effectively. Gets it to Lyle. Needs a good bounce. Has another one. Braden Lyle straight down the corridor. Chalmers this time. Punch away by Manton. Oh, McKay wraps it up beautifully. Terrific defence from the Blues. McKay to the outer side. And the mark is taken up there for Carlton by Beaumont. Let's go to Evers on the boundary.
Yeah, we've seen the enthusiasm of Port Adelaide, but it's a perfect example of the experience of Carlton. Even that last move then, they're just wrapping it up, stopping Port Adelaide. They'll just play out the 30 minutes, I think.
They still look pretty fresh, the Blues too.
Just been a one-dimensional attack into the forward line for most of the afternoon. Long bombs, and they really haven't had anything to counter the experience of the Carlton defence.
Ball underneath Porter, but the umpire says no penalty.
And as we said before, just sadly lacking at centre half forward. They've got no real pillar of strength to channel the ball through.
Primus, not the tap, but couldn't find a rover on the way through. Porter again. Not enough time to get his kick in. Franco Wilson working hard to no avail. Primus will look for somebody to take a hand pass. Finally Eagleton. Beaumont missed it. Sonny's eyes. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Plays on still Murphy. Bradley just keeps running. Whitnell doesn't miss many of these. Got his hands to it. Porter, a little gift to Koutafidis, a little gift to Massey. Massey centres it to the wrong man though. Lockwood missed the mark. Camporelli, thanks very much. Thanks for coming. One goal.
Well, unfortunately finish of the season for Bowen Lockwood because he's had a very good year at times. He's a bit of a flat spell in the middle.
Yes, I guess we shouldn't be too hard. Watch Chris Massey. He does the disciplined thing, in fact. He goes to the front of the square, but it's a spinning ball, and it dips really quickly on Bowen Lockwood. Couldn't control it, and Scott Camporelli, where he has been all day, right where the ball is falling. Goal.
3 goals to Scott Camporelli, becoming the Blues' leading goal kicker with Ron DiUlio. A number of Carlton players have got 2. 18-6 to 10-12. We're at the halfway mark of the final quarter. A bad bounce favours Carlton, does it? Massey missed it. Ratton off the ground. There's a whistle.
High tackle.
Umpire indicating just that, and Chris Massey will take the free kick.
He's playing on the wing in this last quarter, getting quite a few touches.
He is. Murphy. He's been in it all day, apart from the time he went to the bench with an injured ankle to have it restrapped. Primus, Lockwood, keen to make amends for missing that difficult mark before. He will do. Back to the big ruckman. Well, got a terrible bounce. Confronts Massey. He went down. There's a height imbalance there. Dean taken to the ground.
It was good to see the young kid do it. He's 18.
What about the old bloke?
It's his first year. Peter Dean's hair still not messed up.
Get out of it.
I've never seen him play a game of footy with his hair messed up. But Chris Massey put himself...
At least he's got hair.
But he put himself right in the front of the rampaging Matthew Primus and stopped him dead. Got flattened at the same time, but stopped him.
Brown, Beaumont, Ronnie. He's got it up to Camporelli.
All things being said though, Graham, this has been an outstanding performance by the Blues.
Yes, and why are they out of the 8? I mean, they probably, with North Melbourne, have been the form team of the last half of the competition, last half of the year.
Some big scalps against their name, including the Western Bulldogs. Annihilated long-time rivals Collingwood last week, and another big win today. That's off the hands. Now, did it cross the line? I think it may have. For a rush behind.
It didn't look like it did, but I guess the umpire's there.
As Diesel said, they played poorly in the first half of the year when I think they racked up 8 straight losses. But just a couple of close losses to Essendon has been, I guess, the most cruel blow that they've had to endure. But a good rebuilding year, and they look set for another good year next year.
Mead to Harwood. Lyle. Wilson. Rising star winner. Oh, he's been busy. Down to James. Now there's a whistle here.
Push out.
It's against Brett Chalmers, and Glenn Manton just fighting desperately to get to that front spot.
That top game, Glenn, man.
He has.
He's been good.
He's had to fill big shoes down there many times this year with Silvana going forward, but he's done it admirably most times.
Massey to Brown. To Ratton. And DiUlio.
Oh, good take.
Nice little catch. Mark, take, grab, whatever you like. Big hands.
Was a catch, actually.
Porter. Whitnell.
And that's a mark. That is a
bit
great
like
mark.
Stewie Lowe. When he gets his hands on the footy, he doesn't drop them, does he?
Well, strong hands, strong arms. Just nice feel on those hands. The ball doesn't move at all. Bang, look.
2 goals, 3 against his name today. But look at that on the right. 13 marks he's taken. He's given them something up forward, and he's got another goal.
Well, Lance Whitnell, he's taken 13 marks today. 13 marks and kicked 3 goals, and he was rested for the last half of that third quarter and even the start of this quarter. The kick from Porter is good, though. Plenty of height, but plenty of space so he can run into it.
It's a good ground for Lance Whitnell. He gave the Crows a nice old caning in the match directly after the State of Origin game. I think that was when most people acknowledged him as a superstar of the future.
Lance Whitnell, the third Carlton player to kick 3 goals today. 14 kicks, 8 handballs and 13 marks. Whichever way you look at it, they're pretty good stats in a game of footy. I'm not trying to influence either of you guys, but you reckon he'd be in the votes. James. Eagleton. Certainly one of Port's best today. Again. Looks for Stevens. Outnumbered. Now, can they work something up forward from here? That's gone through. It's a goal. Stuart Dew on screen.
Yes, it's a goal, but gee, there's no elation there at all, is there?
Well, they've had a lot of the footy in the early part of the final quarter. We're in the latter part of it now, certainly. Nelson missed it. Lyle got it forward, and Dew in the goal square completed it.
Yes, he realised he was just on the end of the chain. Didn't do anything silly like kick it out of the stadium.
2 goals to Stuart Dew. 7 minutes remaining in the match. Can't use the word contest. It hasn't been really, although Port have been competitive after quarter time. Murphy's kicked a hard forward. Fraser Brown. Silvani seemed to do it with consummate ease, didn't he?
Yeah, once again, Graham, just that wrestle that Steve Silvani has mastered over his long career.
Well, he has the ability to get the body in front and let the ball get into his arms. And
he gets his third. So 4 Carlton players have now kicked 3 goals. Silvani joins the club as Carlton bring up their 20th. They've never beaten Port Adelaide before in their 2 contests. They're going to improve that imbalance here this afternoon.
Pretty straight kick from Sauce. Kicked a number of goals today. He's now got 3. And a pretty good performance all round, but just good flow and good possession footy through the middle of the ground to set it up for him.
Sauce has been a villain when playing in defence in a couple of games this year, and that's being hypercritical. But he's now got 3 goals, and as I said, 4 Carlton players have kicked 3. They might get another one here through Diulio. He's one of the 3 goal kicker club. That's a long kick at goal by Diulio, and I fancy he has just missed it to the right-hand side. His first behind of the afternoon.
The Carlton's had so many big possession winners, it'd be pretty tough giving votes all around today, but Ronnie Diulio certainly has been one of Carlton's finest.
Francis takes the kick in. White gives it to Murphy. Sauce on the lead again. Bradley over the head of Burgoyne. Diulio applies a tackle. Port in desperate or dire straits down there. Wilson. They'll run it out. Still Wilson. Long to half forward. They come from all directions. Franco tries to beat the tackle. Snap it goal by Heaver is close. Port supporters like it. It's a goal.
Well, just watch the long kick come in. Glenn Manton, who committed himself to it. He went for the spoil, but it meant that 2 or 3 Carlton players were up. It came down to Brent Heaver. Long kick from Michael Wilson. Manton read it well in front of Chalmers' thump. But it came to Franco, held on a little bit long, but Heaver, who's bursting for an opportunity to play. He's desperate to have a good finish to the season. At least he goaled.
Heaver got the goal. The 12th for Port Adelaide. 5.5 minutes remaining. 44 points is the margin. Massey has had a very good final quarter. Doesn't add to his stats there. James on the burst. Taken down by Porter. High tackle according to the umpire. The advantage is paid. Eagleton. Primus missed it. Rice won't. The boundary line is his ally, and he takes it over the line in front of his teammate Koutafidis. Hammers on the boundary.
Yeah, Michael Wilson a couple of minutes ago got cleaned up very heavily in the centre, and the runner went straight out. He's going to rest the rest of the game on the bench, and Tom Carr has gone now.
It's the end of his season. So Port won't get the same win-loss ratio they had last year. That was their target. Franco down to Dickey, up into the goal square. Manton, who's been busy in the last quarter and hasn't done much wrong, takes it over the line.
Well, he hasn't done much wrong all day. He's known when he's had to punch. He's known when he's had to take front position. And he's known when to let the ball run out of bounds in front of him.
With a bit of assistance.
Primus. Camporelli runs into trouble, did well to get out of it. Rice's hand pass was okay. Ratton's was even better. Taken by McKay. McKay from his own defensive 50-metre line. There might have been a holding decision there. The umpire decides to let it go. And go is the word for Cooter. Still Cooter. Still he goes. Koutafidis long to go and misses to the right-hand side.
Well, he seized it. He ran into the paddock and he could have gone a bit further. But Tommy Carr, desperate young man, just able to chase him down. Couldn't lay a hand on him, but I think Anthony Koutafidis, sensing he was there, had to take the kick a bit earlier than he'd like.
Fabian Francis bombs it long. Murphy in front. Can't recover well enough. So can Port get another one before the siren goes? Maybe James can do it. James's kick is long. There he is again. Glenn Manton has taken the good defensive mark. On to Rice. Out to Beaumont.
Gee, they've had 13 or 14 excellent players, Carlton.
As I said, it makes giving the votes hard. DiIulio to Murphy. Probably best man on the ground in the first half.
Well, when the game was there to be won, he was the one player
He
who
was, wasn't he?
influenced it most.
Just was slowed down a little bit when he had to get his ankle re-strapped and probably didn't have the same influence on the match when he did return.
I must say, rivaling Nathan Buckley for his disposal skills and the penetration of his kicks.
It's a pretty big rap. James from midfield. A real mongrel punt off the boot. That time the bounce nearly deceives Glenn Manton, but nothing's deceiving him in the final quarter. Rice to Massey, and we've spoken a bit about this youngster in the final term. He's played well. Out to Brown. Brown's whole game has been excellent. He's knocked up getting kicks. Koutafidis, some of his best form as well. Out to Whitnell. They worked that pretty well, Carlton.
Well, they worked it well because there was no pressure from Port Adelaide.
Correct.
Just watching Peter Burgoyne, he hasn't played much league football this year. He just couldn't make the chase then. And the kicks from Carlton were excellent.
Lance Whitnell, 3 goals, 3 against his name. 14 marks, 14 kicks. That's close. Maybe there, maybe not. The latter option, 3 goals, 4 for the Carlton forward. Under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Sting's certainly gone out of the contest now. Paxman will bring it in. A sense of frustration there, one feels. Laid. That's a good mark. Offloads it pretty quickly. Burgoyne. Up to midfield. Ball punched into space. Lyle. Bradley doesn't get a favourable bounce. Might have been held there in that contest. James did well. Out-pressured him. Out-bustled him. Over the head of Stuart Dew, who's already kicked a goal in the final corner. Eagleton, well, he tried to get it to him. He's taken off the ball, grabbed when he didn't have it. Dew applies a tackle. There's a whistle now, and it will be a Carlton free kick. Glenn Manton is the recipient. In fact, it's going to be Nelson who will take it. Nelson to Beaumont.
Well, Craig Bradley sat there on his haunches for 1 minute before a Port Adelaide player even looked like picking him up.
14 and 7 for Bradley. He seems to have had much more than that. McKay.
I would have thought he had a lot more.
I would have thought he's had about 3 times that, Bradley. He has been everywhere.
This man's had plenty of the football.
Beaumont.
13 kicks, 6 handballs and 8 marks. And for a young man playing a pretty good game.
David Parkin, of course, already re-signed for next year. I think he'd be pretty pleased with his side's efforts today and in the latter part of the season. There's a whistle there. Porter will be paid the mark.
Yes, we had some of it, but the Port Adelaide crowd saying you've got to actually hold it and take it to ground.
Well, Eagleton had one before, didn't he? But we won't go back into that. Camporelli on to Peter Dean. Be nice if the siren rang when Dean's got the footy. It won't happen because we've got a minute to go, but he will be chaired off the ground. Whatever happens, Aaron Hamill looks for McKay. He's got him. Too easy for McKay, you'd reckon. McKay into goal and kicks it. He doesn't kick many.
Well, it was too easy because the shepherd from Bradley on the big player Adelaide was absolutely spot on. Just cleared the path for him. And Peter Dean, we saw, put the ball in long. Whitnell not quite controlling it with the one hand. Hamill, quick handball, but just watch the shepherd from Bradley. Just got in the way of Lade. And Mackay, who hasn't kicked too many goals this year, just the 2 goals previously this year, gets in the act too.
Only the 2nd goal for the year to Andrew Mackay. All-Australian in '93 and 3rd in the club's best and fairest last year. You could say a most consistent performer. Camporelli again for Carlton, up to Whitnell. He dropped a mark, call a press conference. Hamill across his body and has missed to the right-hand side.
Oh, well, he's only taken 14. And Aaron Hamill having his impact on the game as well. 9 kicks, 5 handballs, taken 6 marks.
53 points the margin. A day that Port Power fans would prefer to forget. And likewise their coach Jack Cale will stay under the hammer. That remains to be seen. An interesting week coming up from a coaching point of view. Dickey missed what he should have taken. Opens it up for Sexton. Back to Camporelli. The Blues buy some time. Sexton goes up towards left half forward. Brown again. Silvani. They work it outside 50. Sexton once more. They set it up for Camporelli. Usually an accurate kick at goal. And he has missed to the near side this time for one behind.
Gee, goal-kicking wingmen for Carlton have been very effective. Diulio and Camporelli, and Scott Camporelli last week in the goals too. And they really do hurt teams when they run forward and score consistently.
3 Carlton interchange players down there standing on the boundary line. They're waiting for the siren and they will make straight for Peter Dean, I'd reckon.
Ronnie Diulio's one. There it is.
There's the siren. Mead won't get to take his kick. Carlton comprehensive winners here over Port Power. They opened it up in the first quarter with a 9-goal burst and they've won it 21-12, 138 to 12-12, 84. That's a margin of 54 points. So the career comes down, or the curtain comes down on the career of Peter Dean. Number 35 there in the middle of screen. 248 games for Carlton. Played in 2 premiership sides.
Pitched the ball for him, did you see that?
The 97 night premiership team, 3rd in the best and fairest a few years back in '94, and a very illustrious career.
Yeah, it was a great career, and well done to Steve Silvani. As you said, Corns, you grabbed the ball off the umpire and he handballed it straight over to Peter Dean, so he's got a memento of not just this match but a fantastic career with the Blues.
Interesting to see now whether he will coach, and Brent Heaver trying
What do you think he'll make a coach, Cornsey? David Parkin said he would.
Oh, David Parkin would know, and when you get recommendations and accolades from David Parkin, people must sit up and take notice, because the new generation of coaches are senior players like Peter Dean who go into the assistant role, bring with them their knowledge, develop their own pattern and style as well. There we are.
History being made here at Footy Park. The club song being sung without John Elliott in the middle.
That may be why they did it, actually.
Let's go down to Abbas.
Peter, congratulations, end of a long career, a good win.
Yeah, very good win, boys. They've had the moles on us lately, so we wanted to prove a point and take something in next year. All the young blokes did very, very well. Another good team effort and good way to finish off, I suppose, ever.
It was a good finish. Now you get cheered off for the second. We'll get you to make a speech.
No, just go and congratulate Echo. Thanks very much too for the people over the Carlton Social Club. Good on you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Carlton making their way down to their supporters. The Port Adelaide players, in fact, doing, well, it's not a lap of honour, it's just a lap of appreciation whilst that was happening in the background. And they're disappointed. You saw the Carlton team singing the song with gusto, but there would be that element missing, Jared, wouldn't there? The fact that they're not there next week.
Frustration, perhaps, almost, that they're playing so well at the business end of the season, but they won't be playing during September.
I think it's the way they finish the season gives them a great deal of buoyancy and a great deal of enthusiasm. They'll be looking forward to getting into pre-season training, and I'm sure for a lot of the younger blokes that haven't played finals football, like Lance Whitnell, that they can't wait for next year to start.
And going right down now, there's a big group of Carlton supporters who made lots and lots of noise during the game, and Carlton players really showing their appreciation. That's not the norm, is it?
Well, a lot of them, I'm sure, have made their way over from Melbourne for this occasion. Peter Dean was given a rousing send-off last week at the MCG when Carlton absolutely annihilated Collingwood, their long-time rivals. That would have given him a great deal of satisfaction and his teammates. But 248 games, I guess the only disappointment he would have, well, A, they're not playing in the finals, but he didn't make 250. That would have been a nice milestone on which to go out, but the boys have done the right thing by him. Big winners here today. 54 points over Port Adelaide in his final game, and he's got the footy. David Parkin says he will make a coach, and we certainly wouldn't argue with that recommendation.
And how long are Ronnie Diulio and Andrew McKay going to last here?